Good afternoon, I'm Ashley, the engineer at Andover Norton. One of the questions we get on a regular basis is, can I refurbish my oil pump? Yes, you can. The procedure's in the workshop manual, and also I believe it's been shown on some of the old John Hudson DVDs from the past. However, there are some things missing from the workshop manual that can make this a lot better and may enable you to get a better result when you do it. This is an oil pump I've put together without actually using the screws. So you would actually see it like this. You take the top part off, and then you take the bottom part off. You can then see the gears and the operating spindle of the oil pump. Now, if you was to think where you're going to make these gaps tighter, you're only limited by 4 faces. The face on the base plate, the face on the top plate, and the faces on the oil pump body itself. Bearing in mind that then means that these gears in this oil pump must go back in the way they came out. And for that, we're going to butterfly the pump. So that's the spindle. It will only go in one way, has the fixed gear on it. We then take this gear here. We take it out, and I've already pre-marked it. So the face you're looking at there goes in to the bottom of the recess in the oil pump body. Then you've got the idler spindle, and then the 2 gears on the other side. Same with these. Take them out so they go back the way they go in. On this one, I've actually marked the faces of where the faces would go. The reason why you put them back in, so the mating face goes back into the hole, is because that face would have actually worn against that gear. And there's no way of getting down there to address the bottom of that recess where this gear fits. Now you've got the gears out of the pump, you can then put the main body onto a piece of wet and dry, and you can figure of 8 it on a flat surface. You can do the same for these plates as well if they're showing any sign of wear. Ideally, you most probably see a small amount of rub marks on these where the gears have been operating. If there's been any gouging, they've been too tight in the past. What the idea is that you get the gear in the recess and the plate on with very little gap. Once you've done that, you put it back together again, and when you've got it all back together, you should be able to turn it using the spindle finger tight, and it should be nice and smooth. It will get easier when you put oil in there and it turns in anger, but you should be able to turn it with your fingers. It might be a little bit stiff, but you should still be able to turn it. Screw the pump back together again, tighten the screws, and then check the final time to make sure you can still turn it and it's not pinched off anywhere. Also, this is typical of the pumps that we get coming through the workshop at the moment. This one, you can see it's got silicone in it, and for some of them you can actually see down inside there they've got swarf in it. It's not unusual to see that at the moment. As you can imagine, that oil pump's not going to last too long. The Norton Oil Pump is actually a very good pump. It will deliver a fair amount of oil at quite a good pressure. One of the drawbacks is it does wet sump. Sadly, there's very little we can do about that in a gear pump, because if it didn't wet sump, it most probably not self-lubricate and seize itself up. If anyone has got any further questions, feel free to contact myself or Simon at Andover Norton on the technical line, or send an email into the technical email.